Which of those four is it when you talk to him about murdering Tupac?
It was really about both of them. Either one of them. It was
Tupac and Suge, you mean?
Yeah.
Maybe I said about both of them because he got Tupac killed.
A's stated in this file, former LAPD cop claims Diddy had Tupac dealt with for $1 million. Suge retaliated by having Biggie dealt with, and a tweet states, Diddy faces questions about his alleged role in Tupac's murder after being mentioned 77 times in a new legal filing. New video and proof indicating Diddy was guilty of Tupac's death were discovered during Diddy's trial. The police interrogated Keffe D after his detention, and the findings were initially shown in court.
All four of those occasions are San Diego, Anaheim, Irvine, and Vegas. Which ones do you actually talk to Puffy at?
Every one.
Every one of them. Which of those four is it when you talk to him about murdering Tupac?
It was really about both of them. Either one of them. It was
Tupac and Suge, you mean?
Yeah.
This would be followed by incidents when people questioned Diddy about being responsible for Tupac, such as this humiliating morning clip.
It was this documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist asking. Thank you.
Because you, listen, 7 years ago, I'd have been like, yo, did you hire somebody? But no, you do it like a journalist.
Yeah, no, I mean, we wouldn't even get into nonsense like that. You know what I'm saying? It's nonsense.
Which we never believed, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Press reports would soon follow, and 50 Cent's response was that he disliked Diddy because he took Tupac away.
When they leave me to talk, because I always say the wrong thing. I was like, last time they left me, I said something about Puffy. You saw that clip? Yeah! I gotta stop doing that. I've been talking to a therapist trying to help me with the I'm saying. I said crazy no reason. Oh wait, maybe I said it about Puffy because he got Tupac killed.
However, KD explained how Tupac was in Vegas with the head of his record label on September 7, 1996, when Diddy ejected him, and they headed to the MGM Grand to see a Mike Tyson fight. Knight and their team explained that they saw an OP in the lobby after the game was over.
And their entourage went to the Mike Tyson, the MGM Grand. Keffe D and his nephew, Orlando Lane Anderson, and two of their friends were also there. Keffe D told LAPD detective Greg Kading more than a decade ago, in a proffer that couldn't be used against him, the shooting was retaliation after Tupac jumped Orlando and beat him up at the casino. Surveillance cameras recorded the fight. Tupac was angry that Lane had stolen his necklace years prior in Compton. Tupac, Suge Knight, and the entourage left the casino quickly.
Tupac and Suge returned to their hotel to change before going to a bar to party after security broke up their altercation with the OPs. As previously mentioned, 662 members, including Orlando and Keith D, rushed in their white Cadillac and started driving down the strip in pursuit of the criminal after learning about Tupac's performance at the club. They finally caught sight of Tupac's caravan at the junction of Koval Lane and East Flamingo Boulevard when the black BMW and white Cadillac pulled beside each other, Tupac in the passenger seat and Suge behind the wheel. Twice, the Cadillac's rear window rolled, once in the thigh, once in the arm, and once in the chest. The police investigated a disturbing interview by Keffe D on DJ Vlad's broadcast, which begins with him explaining how they located Tupac and pulled up on him and, Bubble, after the incident remained a mystery for over a decade.
And Bubble Up was the driver, and Baby Lane and Freaky were in the backseat.
We was just all in the car together. Just say that.
This was the white Cadillac?
Yeah.
So you guys are driving around, and then you hear these girls say, Tupac, Tupac.
Got to the light. We was gonna go drink, and he happened to be hanging out the window. He's hanging out the window like he was in a parade.
Tupac?
Yeah, he was.
So what happens next? You said that as you're driving up towards the BMW, with Suge driving and Tupac in the passenger seat.
Keith D went on to claim that Tupac was singled out because he was grabbing for his gun as the other car stopped at a red light.
Said that as you're driving up towards the BMW with Suge driving and Tupac in the passenger seat. And you said that Tupac pulled out
It looked like he was reaching, yeah. Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you actually?
No, once he got the reaching, I got the ducking.
So someone from your car
That's what happened.
started at Tupac and Suge.
Tupac was preparing because he felt that something was about to happen, but he was unfortunately not fast enough. Later, the never-before-seen police interrogation of Keffi D was leaked, and it begins.
You say Suge looks over, he sees you. He looks right at you.
Yeah, he looked at me.
When he looks over at you, and then Tupac's busy getting. Evidently, the story is Tupac's trying to either get out of
In
the
the
line.
back seat or something.
Yeah, what do you see happening inside of their
Jumping
car?
in. I seen him going Suge head. I thought he was.
So Orlando across Dre?
He leaned over on the window. We rolled down the window.
Keffi D's response to Tupac's death, which reveals his genuine feelings, was also discovered by the police throughout their investigation.
I hate that happened, dog. I really do, man. 'Cause it took a lot of people's lives, dude. I hate that happen. Father God. I feel that was wrong, man. It was just wrong, purely wrong. You know what I'm saying? I wish it had never happened. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion. This would never happen, dude.
The news said, new updates are happening in Tupac Shakur's murder case from rappers in the industry like Snoop Dogg, in case you missed it. Since many people believe Diddy didn't act alone, this is when things start to go insane. Suge and Diddy are going to go to jail since many people think that Snoop killed Tupac because of new evidence. Because of this interview, the federal government is doubting Snoop's involvement.
With Tupac, though, in regards to Tupac, I heard a story, did you give him different advice that night on where to go?
I didn't give him no advice.
Right.
We wasn't seeing eye to eye.
Right.
So
saying during the Tyson.
Yeah, this incident that I'm explaining to you right now was the day before that.
Okay.
So when they got to Vegas, they went their way, I went back. I mean, when we got to LA, they went to Vegas and I went home. That's why I wasn't in the car with them.
He was supposed to be in the BMW, but he didn't go because of last-minute changes. This most likely resulted from a brawl that had broken out a few days prior between Suga, Snoop, and Tupac.
The last time me and Tupac was on the same page, and I did an interview with Angie Martinez, and she asked me, how did I feel about Puffy and Biggie? And I told her that I liked their music and I want to do music with them. Bro didn't like that, Tupac didn't like that, so we had a misunderstanding. So on the flight back to LA, I didn't feel comfortable around them for what they had did, as far as I didn't let my security ride with me. So to protect myself and to prevent from happening, I slept under a blanket with the knife and the fork just in case something was to go wrong, but it didn't.
The cops are suspicious because all of this occurred within 72 hours after Tupac's murder. Snoop Dogg was highly tapped into the streets 20 years ago. Many people suspect that Snoop might have avoided getting in the car that night after receiving a tip that Tupac was going to be the target of an attack. The feds then discovered another interview in which Snoop asserted that he thought Tupac disliked him 2 days before Tupac's death.
I say a week before he died, we was best of friends. 2 days before he died, I don't think he liked me.
Why?
Because we was in New York, and it happened. New York, they shot at me and did all kind of shit to me, like just the worst you could think of. And I forgave him. And went and did an interview and was asked, how do I feel about Puffy and Biggie? And I was like, I like it. I want to do some music with them. And I just rubbed Cuz the wrong way, like tried to me, out at you, and you talking about you want to do a song with him. I wasn't thinking about his emotions. I was thinking about the way I felt at the time. I wasn't into no controversy. I liked his music. They was our friends. We was all friends at one point. There's video footage of all of us hanging out.
The internet would go crazy, and millions of fans would begin to explore it. An officer's interview revealed that Tupac was an industrial plant entrusted with ending the conflict between the Red and Blue Street teams. Once he discovered his Fed status, via a widely shared thread.
Well, it turns out when I talked to Tupac's longtime mentor, political mentor, former Black Panther Chokwe Lumumba, who was his first business manager. He's told me, I basically asked, well, was Tupac only pretending to be in order to appeal to gangs and politicize them? And he said yes. And that was part of his thug life agenda that he came up with his imprisoned stepfather, Tupac Shakur. And so Tupac was just using that in order to get the leaders to call peace truces, first in Los Angeles, then throughout California, and then throughout the country. And that was why he was pretending to be this type. And really, he was just an intellectual prodigy.
When I saw this 2010 interview with rapper Trey about Tupac prior to a gig, I was astounded. In the past, Trey and Tupac were good friends and collaborated on a few records. But because the photographer dropped his camera on the ground and neglected to stop recording, this is where things start to become extremely interesting. The interviewer asks Trey about Tupac in the video, and Trey responds, "Last time I saw him, he was in Cuba. He died suddenly because the plan didn't pan out. But it makes sense why Snoop Dogg didn't want to be close to him that evening in Las Vegas."
Well, if you ain't ready for it, get on the sidewalk.
Earl. One last question. Nobody knows. Y'all good? Yeah, we good. Thanks a lot, man. We good. Last time I saw him, he was in
At the time, I went to see some music. A news website published a video 3 weeks later that allegedly showed Tupac lounging in a parking lot in Cuba.
That's Pac, man. He with the outlaw. And Reg from Holla Back is trying to be friendly and get autographs. Holla Back exclusive, baby. Holla Back.
Shu claims that Tupac was doing well in the hospital before his death, claiming, "When I left that hospital, me and Tupac were laughing and joking," which gives a strong case for Tupac's continuing existence. How someone can go from performing well to doing badly is beyond me. The Tupac is alive in Cuba. Theory was developed as a result. However, as of 2025, it doesn't appear to be a viable theory.
When I left that hospital, me and Pac was laughing and joking. So I don't see how somebody can turn from doing well to doing bad.
So you seriously think that he might still be alive?
I'm gonna tell you this, Pac, you never know.
About this is that, despite Shu's 2008 interview assertion that Tupac was still alive, how could he and Suge be grinning if Tupac was allegedly in a coma?
He was conscious on the way to the hospital.
He was conscious on the way to the hospital. He was conscious in the ambulance. He was conscious after they did the surgery.
What was the last thing that he said to you?
They left.
Because Knight knew immediately that discussing Tupac in a public interview would likely result in his son, Suge Knight Jr., making the same mistake in 2018. 2 weeks after Suge leaked this information in that interview, Knight almost died at a nightclub after a man pointed a gun at him 6 times. He was hesitant to tell the police anything. Announced that Tupac was still alive and living in Malaysia. After that, Suge Jr. posted another picture to Instagram that showed a text message with the words, "You said too much time for you to go." After that, Suge Knight's son would post pictures of Tupac alongside modern-day celebrities like 50 Cent and Beyonce, creating the appearance that Suge Jr. was being pursued. For his caption for the Tupac and Beyonce shot revealed all of this information. "He never left us. They'll be after me soon." Some believed it was all a publicity stunt to help Knight's son get power, while others believed it was all factual and that Shu Jr. would be the most knowledgeable person about this issue because his father was there.